Hello listeners, it's former England and Premier League player Matt Jarvis here. Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Remember to support the podcast by sharing with your friends and family and leaving that 5-star review. Now come on you Irons and stay loyal.
Well, thank you to our friend of the show, former England, Wolves, West Ham and Norwich Premier League winger, Matt Jarvis.
Yep, nice to hear from you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, and when you're free next time, Matt, we'd like to get you on the show, and there's always a spare seat down in the bunker.
Yeah, we can have a good old debate about one of your old clubs, West Ham.
Yeah, so Matt
nice to hear from you. Thank you.
Matt got in contact with the show after hearing about Jack's West Ham slander. And wasn't too impressed, so he wanted to show his support. But thank you, Matt, for the kind message, and for all the other nice messages we had the last week.
Yep, we're
Show's
back.
Still going, episode 8, and as the title suggests, there's only one place to start, and that's Hogwarts.
Yeah, the debacle of what's going on at the bridge.
Another manager bites the dust down at the bridge. Did you see this one coming?
I didn't. I thought they'd give him. I just assumed Tuchel would be their manager. Not as if they came in and we've got to assess the manager and then we'd go from there. I thought Tuchel, he's the guy in charge. The supporters, I'd say, majority,
unanimously,
yeah.
I would say, loved him.
Yeah, we'll go into it, but he was doing well. He was doing really well, and he's regarded as one of the top European managers. And yeah, it seems bizarre as to why they got rid of him, but we'll just quickly highlight the game last week in the Champions League, which sort of the morning after everyone woke up and Tuchel was gone. But they lost. They were 1-0 away, wasn't it? Lost 1-0
at Zagreb.
Zagreb, yeah, which obviously yes, probably not a easy place to go and get a result, but
unless you're West Ham, I've seen going around the rounds, going the rounds on Twitter.
Yeah, they I think Fofana and Aubameyang both started, didn't they?
Yeah.
Fofana's first Champions League game, I think, or first start for Chelsea.
Yeah, and it would have been Aubameyang's first start.
Yeah, and it was Aubameyang's first game
and
for
first
Chelsea.
Champions League game for 6 years, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and they both started. Koulibaly played as well, with next to Fofana, and they both sort of were at fault for the goal, weren't they? They both went up for header and didn't know what the hell was going on.
Mendy's still out injured with his after Bowen's horrific challenge on him.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to say his name, but Kepa was in goal for the game.
Azkaban lager.
But yeah, they just looked disjointed. I think just looked incoherent.
They looked how Chelsea have looked all season. Not like a classic Chelsea team.
And the only game they played well was against Tottenham at home. That's the only game where they looked like bloody hell. That's a very very good Chelsea side. But yeah, you talk to all the Chelsea that have watched the games and been to them. They said the same thing, that apart from that Spurs game, every other game was like that Champions League. They just had nothing to offer.
Speaking to a few Chelsea fans, they reckon they haven't played well since the Real Madrid second leg semi-final.
Yeah.
When they lost that, I think it was April they lost that, and since then they've been a downhill spiral, really. Ever since the sanctions came in, I mean, they lost to Arsenal recently after that. Yeah. They lost to Everton. And they scraped top 4 in the end just because Arsenal fucked up.
Because the teams below, even Tottenham included, were not good enough to overtake.
The 3 games. I mean, what did you finish behind them last year? 2 points?
Yeah, we should. Well, we'd always say it, but we should have picked up those points in various games. So.
Beginning of last season, Chelsea were AKA title contenders.
Yeah, they were the start.
Certain people still tell me that Chelsea are the best team in the world, apparently.
Yeah.
And
best team in the world, best manager in the world, but he's gone. Now you've got Mr. Potter. Potter. But they just again quickly on the game. They had Fofana and Koulibaly both starting centre half. Combined cost well over 100 million. Like I said, Aubameyang just got in. Tuchel's man up front. Chilwell got given a start after his performance from the previous week. So, and they just poor. They were just, like I said, disjointed. They had no rhythm or flow. They dominated the ball like you'd expect, but just didn't danger Zagreb one bit. Yeah, that's all.
See, I'm very surprised they got rid of him, to be fair. I think he walks into any top club in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If anyone loses their job, like a top
Tuchel
10 club in the world,
be on the list of
he's
all the top
number
clubs.
2. He's in the top 3 on the short list.
If United at the time didn't have a manager and Tuchel was available, I'm sure they would have liked him. He may have been on their list of options to go for, but yeah, he's managed? Dortmund, PSG, both. He's been sacked from both, but he's a well-regarded and well-renowned football manager, and and maybe the owners just like classic sort of a new ownership come in, they want to stamp their authority, and they want they don't want the previous manager that's coming under different ownership, which obviously yes I understand, but you've got one of the best, and maybe probably things are deeper, we don't know.
Yeah, there was a few things I heard on various podcasts, listened to, and reports I've read. I don't know how true you got to take them with a pinch of salt, and there were two things that Tuchel really got ticked off about was the decision to try and sign Ronaldo. They wanted to sign Ronaldo, and apparently they spent so long wanting to get him while they weren't spending time on your Fofana, your Koulibaly, your defenders. They wanted Cucurella and whatnot. He didn't want Ronaldo, and they couldn't understand why they didn't want Ronaldo, because they want to make Chelsea a big commercial
to them,
property
Ronaldo,
in America.
He's still that, isn't he? He brings all that.
He brings the shirt sales, he brings the media numbers, he brings the Twitter followers, he brings the Instagram followers. He's just obviously probably the most marketable player in the world.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to bring to Chelsea, but he was having none of it.
No.
And I don't think that sat down well.
I don't blame him at all. And then they've I know they're talking about Ronaldo, but then they brought in Aubameyang, which is Tuchel's decision. That's who he wants. And it's barely one game, and he's been gone. So it's a bizarre old situation.
But and the other one was apparently, the truth is that the owners sat down with Tuchel because they didn't want to play his formation anymore. They want to play a 4-4-3.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
12 players,
extra man. Yeah.
And apparently he was just like, he shut that down straight away, and that didn't go down well. But whether or not true that is, I can quite conceivably see both happening.
Definitely see that.
These stupid American new owners who are bowled in, trying to take charge of their club, which had just spent. How much you say they spent on it?
So they bought Chelsea for a record. It was a sporting franchise record of 4.25 billion. So they bought Chelsea for 4.25 billion, and then before signing Potter, they'd spent again another in one window a record transfer spending spree of 273 million. So then they've got Potter and all his backroom staff and whoever else.
Apparently that cost 16 million. I read.
So in total about 300 million spent this summer. One with a manager they supposedly didn't want, but bought all his players, and then they've now got a new bloke in that. Okay, worked with Cucurella before.
Well, the reports coming out today, weren't they? Apparently they were quizzing Cucurella's team about Potter, how he played, and trying to get not tactics on him, but trying to feel him out.
We don't know, because there's that classic sort of Chelsea. We chop and change, and we get a result, we win something, then we sack our manager, get someone else in. After 2.5 years, we win something, then they do that. That's the classic sort of Chelsea talk and what the system. But Potter can't be. He can't be that man. He just has to be given. Yeah, what I listened to today,
they were saying Potter's there plan there for five to 10 years. There's no chance. Like I remember putting on our group chat, he signed a 5-year deal, and the two standout Chelsea fans know Reece and Jim. And I said to them, "You're both 25 years old. Will you be 30 and Potter still be a manager?" Yeah. They're like, "Not a chance."
And they don't want that. Even I don't know. It's a bizarre one. And like I said, the owners, according to what they're doing, they must have a different plan to what Abramovich used to do, and but then that's bizarre in that they were desperately wanting Ronaldo, but they want a progressive and project type manager. But we want Cristiano Ronaldo up front. It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense.
Going back to your point you just said about Chelsea always chopping and changing the managers and whatnot. They bring him in, win something. You can't say that he hasn't been a renowned success, Tuchel. But the interesting stats are, he was sacked exactly 100 days into the new ownership. He had 100 games for Chelsea, won 60, drew 24, and lost 16.
Yep.
Within them games, he won the Champions League, the Super Cup, and the Club World Cup. He lost 2 FA Cup finals and lost the League Cup final. Obviously, one League Cup final was on penalties, and one FA Cup was on penalties. I mean, in 100 games, he was there 18 months.
It's not a bad record.
It's a good record.
Yeah.
As much as it pains me, I hate Chelsea, but they're the most mercenary team in the world. But Potter for me is the most unmercenary
He's
person. He's just like
just
a
so
nice
innocent.
school nerd.
Yeah, he just looks like a little PE teacher.
Yeah.
Just obviously loves football and is incredibly knowledgeable and probably very good at what he does. But yeah, exactly, just doesn't fit Chelsea one bit, does he?
Well, I've got a note to say, will Potter handle the pressure cooker of Chelsea? Like, that is highly. He's now gone from everybody's second favourite team, like inverted commas, Brighton. Oh, look at Graham Potter. Look how he's doing well.
Football,
They've got nice players. We like these players. To then coming to probably everyone's most dislikable team.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Or dislikable club, shall I say? Like,
I would say, we don't know yet with the new owners, like I keep saying, but in a Abramovich era, no way Potter gets eaten up, chewed up, spat out, and done. There's no way he survives. But with this Todd Bowley and whoever else they've got, then maybe he might be the answer. He's the one they stick by, and no, they go, no, Graham Potter, he's the man in charge, and he's the coach that we want. So
before he was announced, there was the two hot rumours were him and Poch. And speaking to the two Chelsea fans,
Sporting have just gone 1-0 up.
Wow. As the clock hits 90, Sporting Lisbon have just
from a corner
gone 1-0 up.
Oh,
wow. We'll watch back, see if it counts.
Oh, they're going potty as well.
But it was between. Oh, talking about Spurs to their former manager. Who would you have picked, being a Chelsea fan? Poch or Potter?
It's hard for me because I've obviously think about him at Spurs, and I wouldn't say surely, but I would, as a football fan, or I don't know if you have an interest, like maybe Poch would have been the better option. I don't know. I would say Pochettino would have been a better option.
My thing about Poch, which I'll defend him about, which I get a bit annoyed about, is with this stupid slander he gets. Oh, he's won nothing. He's won nothing. He's won. But Spurs should have won something in your prime years. Whenever he was there, his best years, they probably should have won something.
We could have, but we.
But I don't.
I wouldn't say it's his fault. It's not Pochettino's problem. Not. It's the players that clearly tonight is the same group of players that we have.
Yeah, it's like that to hold against him is right. And people say, "Oh, look how he handled the big personalities at PSG." Well, look how Tuchel handled them. He got sacked from there.
Exactly. Yeah. And the PSG, like Pochettino hasn't. They go there and they win the league without even worrying about it. Well, yes, but it's not. You can't judge him and just totally crucify him because he's at PSG. And like you just said, they've got untold amounts of egos and big name players, and like Mbappe's whatever he's sporting director and he plays up front. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Every manager that goes there struggles.
Yeah,
Tuchel,
and it's not just the managers. There's obviously something wrong with the club. There must be something wrong with the club.
And most managers flourish after they leave because they get like a new lease of life. Like, they're all prima donnas there, and it can't be the nicest place to work.
Yeah, and the argument of like before when it was Potter or Pochettino, people were saying, well, what's Pochettino won? What's Graham Potter won? He finished 15th and 8th with Brighton. Like, he finished 10th with Swansea. Yes, he was Östersunds in the Swedish 4th division and got them all the way to the top tier, and he won a cup. That's fantastic, but that's in Sweden. You can't say, oh, what did Pochettino win? Well, hang on, you've got Graham Potter, like the geography teacher. He's not, he hasn't won anything either, so that argument needs to stop straight away.
But no, it's an interesting point because he's, like I said, he's everyone's second favourite manager or whatever. He's the Mr. Fashionable at the moment.
Exactly.
He's
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Like
he's Mr. Fashionable. It could be 2-0. Oh my god.
Wow.
2-0 Sporting.
Is that old? What's his name?
No,
it's not.
He just come on, that fella.
What? Literally just now?
He's just been subbed on. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, glad I didn't go there.
My ears are ringing with West Ham fans. If only we could do a live stream right now.
This is Champions League though, so your Open Conference is Thursdays. This is Champions League. This is the big boy game. Back to the topic.
So Potter took over. Have you got some notes on Potter? Potter took over Brighton. How long has he been there? He's been there about 2 years. This is his second season or third season?
So Potter was in charge of Brighton from 2019 to obviously recently 2022. He finished 15th in his first season because he changed. Like the big argument was that Chris Hughton was in charge beforehand, and he just was like the sort of run of the mill, and we must survive, and we'll defend, and we'll get a point here and there, we'll nick a goal, we'll win a game, whatever it might be. Potter's come in and changed their style, got him 15th, and then it was the argument of, right, we've finished 15th, probably no better than Chris Hughton would have done, but it's his style of playing, that possession base and progressive football, whatever. So there was a bit of a 50-50 within the Brighton fans who wanted it, who was against it, whatever. Next season they finished 8th, and that's really impressive from Brighton. I think that's brilliant. Like, Brighton shouldn't even be in the Premier League, let alone finishing 8th. And then on to this season, he started brilliantly. 6 games, 13 points.
They remind me a little bit of the Leicester City team of a few years back, where obviously when Rodgers took over, and their just recruitment is just so smart.
Yeah.
Like I said, they signed Basuma a few years back. They developed him from a £5 million player, whatever they paid for him, to I know it's only 25, only a year left, but he could have easily gone 35, 40 million last year. Same with Cucurella. Within 1 year, they bought him for like 15 mil and sold him for bloody 60 odd million.
And even now, I know Potter's now just left, but like we said, those players, Cucurella, Basuma, have been sold, and they've replaced them with unknowns essentially, but seem to be going quite well at the minute. And again, they've got a group of players that just have bought into the way they wanted to play, and they look good again. But then that's going to all change now with Potter gone. So
even Potter, for example, there's no way he cost more than 400, 500k to get him from Swansea
at the time, yeah.
And they've sold him for £16 million. They've made a £16 million profit on their manager, which is just
whoever's in charge of Brighton above the manager and stuff. They've obviously got their stuff together.
I haven't seen much on his replacement or rumours.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of like Brighton coming out and saying, "Yeah, we're fully on board," and congratulate him, and they seem to be very helpful, as as you can be in that situation. But yeah, like you said, there's not been.
Have I seen that Adam Lallana is caretaker?
Oh no!
Player
really?
manager. Him and Bruno, I think I've read.
Oh no, I think Bruno's gone Chelsea as well.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, the guy that used to play for him,
guy,
yeah, the bald Spanish fella. He's moved over to Chelsea.
The only thing I've seen is that Adam Lallana's like currently taking training, or that might be completely lie.
No, he could well be, and him and Welbeck, assistant manager, I think. So
D Welbs, that guy.
Yeah, and there's not been much chat about their new manager, and for Brighton, they're in a difficult situation now because they were on an upwards trajectory with Potter, and they were a solid Premier League side. And now are they reverting back to we're just scrapping for our lives and
we're going to get a Sean Dyche and Allardyce in.
Yeah, exactly. What do they do?
Just stay up.
Yeah. Do they get Scott Parker in?
Do they? It's an interesting.
It's an option.
It's an interesting thing. Like he is a progressive footballing manager.
Yeah.
He wants to play nice football.
Yeah.
He'll sign them sort of players. Brighton probably have more ambition than Bournemouth do. Actually, I think they do. Not they. What's that? Of course they do have more ambition than Bournemouth. They've got more money, bigger stadium, more finances. They're a Premier League club for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But do you get? I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't.
But like I said, nothing's been said. Obviously, all the focus on Chelsea and even more focus on Tuchel being sacked than Brighton getting a new manager in. And it's now a massive time for them.
Going back to Parker, Bournemouth still haven't confirmed it. Is it still Gary O'Neill?
Yeah, still O'Neill's caretaker, and he probably. I suppose it sounds ridiculous, but until they have a bad run, they'll probably just keep him. I think
it's a nice, cheap and cheerful option, isn't it?
Exactly. It's an easy option, and I don't know, Brighton. That's true. It's like, well, what the hell are they going to do now? It's a strange one, but Potter is a lot of it's been said, but it's a pretty cool rise to the top, I'd have to say. I've got some things on him, but he basically started at university level. He was at Hull. He was a technical director of the Ghana women for their World Cup. He was the assistant of England university side. Then he was at Leeds Uni with their football team. And then in 2010 was when he moved to like the professional game as such. He went to Östersunds in Sweden, took him from the 4th tier to the top tier in 5 years, got him to Europe. They played your beloved Arsenal, didn't they?
Biggest team in the world.
Or was it they lost at home, but then they beat you away?
In Norway.
Yeah.
Not Norway,
Sweden.
Sweden, sorry.
Yeah. Was it quite comfortable, wasn't it? 3-0?
Yeah, 3-1, I think, or something like that. And then I think they beat us 2-1 at the Emirates, and that's where he got his name.
Yeah,
and that was his last season.
He was, because obviously as an English manager abroad, he was, until you do something sort of extraordinary, you don't really get noticed. But yeah, that Arsenal tie was the moment, and everyone realised, there's some sort of up and coming English manager in Sweden. What the hell is he doing out there? And then that's when he got his move to Swansea, finished 10th. Was praised again for the way he plays his football and the style and his meticulous thinking and planning and whatever his preparation, and then he got his move to Brighton, and now he's at the Bridge.
And a note on him arriving at Chelsea: So since Jack and I have been in football, supporting football, following football, he has become the 20th Chelsea manager since 2004. If you want to name them all, then pause the podcast and see if you can name them all before I name them all.
Drop them in the comments for us.
But we start with Claudio Ranieri. I know obviously the Roman regime is gone, but it looks like they're still continuing the same few losses and you're sacked. Ranieri, Mourinho Part 1, Avram Grant, Luis Felipe Scolari, Gus Hiddink Part 1, Carlo Ancelotti, AVB, Di Matteo, Rafa, Jose Part 2, Hiddink Part 2, Conte, Sarri, Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, and now Graham Potter.
And on the records and the stats, Potter did lose, or has lost 6 in a row with Brighton last season. So he's definitely capable of getting some bad results. And that's what we'll be telling, is when and if Chelsea go through a bit of bad form and pick up some bad results, and whether that's midway through the season, towards the end, or if they get knocked out of a few cups, they don't make it through Champions League group stage, then we'll see what the owners are really about.
And they play tomorrow night, don't they, Chelsea?
Yes, they do.
I don't know who they play. Probably should have done that.
Who have they got?
Well, they're playing the Champions League tomorrow night. They'll be at home. They'll be at home at the Bridge. And he is managing tomorrow. He's not in the stands, not doing one of them silly silly watch-alongs.
Game, I'm pretty sure. Salzburg, sorry. Red Bull Salzburg.
Salzburg.
So, on paper, should be a win. Should be a nice start for Potter, but...
And then, well, I don't know whether he liked this or not, but obviously with the backlog of fixtures coming, the lot of fixtures coming up recently, and he won't have a midweek off until the World Cup. Every top 6 club, and West Ham
want top 6?
No, but they're in the Conference League, so every club...
Nib.
Every club in Europe doesn't have a midweek off, so there is no training. There's no time to get your players ready. You're literally playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Thursday. But obviously their game at the weekend is called off, so he has a bit of time to get his plans across to his players. But
we'll see how it goes, and I think you said it earlier, but I think in a minute Potter is like the fashionable choice. There's a lot of England talk, and he like even when Tottenham were looking at a new manager, he was thrown in the hat. But yeah, I think we'll see. With Chelsea, is the biggest thing is, are they going to stick to their guns and stand by them?
Well, before we end this section off, I'm going to ask you one question, Jack. I want a yes or no answer. As Spurs have taken the last 2 Chelsea managers, and Mourinho and Conte, is Tuchel going to be the next Spurs manager?
No.
Okay. That signs it off. We'll be back after this short break.
All I want is a piece of shit motor to get me from A to B.
Well, come down to Tell's Bangers, where we sell all type of shit heat motors at affordable prices. Oh, guess what? We've got everything. Fake number plates? What's wrong with that? Built-in ashtrays? What's wrong with that? No seat belts? What is wrong with that? Why not listen to some feedback from our amazing customers? From where I'm from, I have to steal a car, but with Tell's Bangers, it's stolen for you. I had no cash on me, but at Tell's Bangers, they take any sort of payment, and I mean any. So, next time you're down East Ham, pop down and check out our amazing collection of PS4 cars at Tell's Bangers.
Well, thanks, Tell. And as we were recording the first part, we realised that we missed out the Tate's Trivia Tweezer.
Tate's teaser.
Oh, I've had too many beers. Right, so week 3, I think this one is. Right, here we go. Jack, are you ready?
Ready.
Which 2 players have scored a Premier League penalty with their right and left foot? I think this is probably the easiest one of the 3 so far. because I've seen this do the rounds online a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to come back to that. I can't say I've got anything springing to mind. So yeah, keep that in the back of my head.
2 players have scored a penalty with their right and left foot, and the answer will be revealed at the end of the show.
Have they just scored? Say with their weaker foot as such. Have they just scored the one, or have they scored multiple with both? I'm not sure.
One of them I know has just scored one. I don't know about the other answer.
All right. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay. Well, as we are sat in the bunker, we have just watched Spurs lose 2-0 to
away at
Sporting Lisbon.
Yes.
Thoughts, Jack?
Well, I was coming home from work and watched about 25 minutes of the first half, and it just looked like similar to what we've done all year so far. Like we haven't been terrible, but we haven't been dominating and setting the world. Like we just looked okay, and obviously it was 0-0 at half time, and nothing really was happening. They didn't look like scoring. We weren't going to score. It was just a nothing game. And then second half, we were probably not, I wouldn't say better than them, but we improved our game. We looked all right. But then they've scored 2 late goals there. We're watching the replays now.
That first goal from the corner is a soft goal. Any goal from the corner is soft.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying absolutely gutted. Obviously, you're annoyed. We lost. We don't want to lose. You don't want to ever lose. But yes, there's plenty of games left.
You've got
in
4 games to recover.
Yeah.
Do you know what the Sporting result was last week? Did they draw?
No, they beat Frankfurt 3.
Did they?
Pretty sure it's 3-0. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll be top of the group.
The Frankfurt team that beat West Ham?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Frankfurt that are in that won that European competition last year and are now in the Champions League with Tottenham Hotspur.
Right. So they're on 6. You're on 3. Yeah, like I say, you've got 4 more games to turn it around.
Play Marseille in a.
And who's the other team in the group?
Marseille.
Frankfurt. So now you'll have a double header against Frankfurt, won't you? Home and away against Frankfurt.
Yes, yeah. Like I said before, I think we'll win 2 games at home. We'll win 1 away, and then we should get through.
Yeah, 9 points. 9 to 10 points is usually enough for first or second place. You'll be
we'll
all right.
see. We'll see.
And while we're on Spurs, might as well stay on the subject. You went to the game, didn't you?
Last week.
Against Marseille
at home, first one. Again, it's similar to the performance we've just seen there, but we were okay. We were all right. We're not brilliant at the minute at all. I don't know what's happening or if they're trying something different, what's going on, but yeah, we were just okay in the game, and then like similar to what Sporting done to us tonight. Richarlison scored 2 late goals last week, 2 headers, 2 really good headers, and won us the game. But I'd say I've got written down, but Marseille were pretty good. They got a load of like
Arsenal players. Yeah,
like Premier League rejects and misfits that didn't quite work out in England, but for Marseille with their manager and how they're playing, they're quite decent. A typical like classic European away game for them. They sort of tried to delay as much as possible with subs and feigning injury. The goalie was throwing his body on the floor and staying down for a stupid amount of time. They were making subs where the player would go to the other side of the pitch and then walk back across, like just stupid little things. But when you're playing good sides in Europe in like European competitions, it happens all the time, and just one of the things you got used to. And luckily enough, we won the game 2-0. So, and Richarlison in his debut in Champions League scored twice. So
taking your Spurs hat off, is that a red card? Was it Chancellor Mbemba? He got sent off, didn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely a red card. Yeah. Son was through. Son's 1-on-1 with goalie. The bloke just wiped him out. Yeah.
I think it's it's one of them ones. If it's for you, it's a red card. If it's like against you, it's a red card. But the only issue I have a little bit, I think he's a little bit far out. Like I think he was bang on, but I think it's a red.
If he doesn't make the tackle, Son's
he's through.
Yeah. Goal, yeah. And like Romero will probably do one of them identical in about 2 weeks. But no, it's a red card without doubt.
Yeah,
without doubt. All I'd say on Spurs is that it's sort of minor, but one of the good things at the minute is Perisic. Like we have a few players that are playing well. Richarlison's playing well. Perisic is playing well, but Perisic just looks like a class above. He's not. I do think he's a brilliant player, and he's not like world class like Messi, Ronaldo, that sort of astronomical level. But you can just tell that he's been around.
Played at a high level.
He's played at the highest level with the best players. He's won and been in biggest games and the biggest competitions. And he might not have been the main man for all those teams, but if you've been around those clubs and those managers and players for all that time, you've got to have something about you. And he reminds me a bit of when we had Berbatov, when we had Modric. You just knew they were so much better than us. And Perisic is so much calmer. He has so much control over his game and his decision making he does and things he sees, and he just is that much better than what we've got, and it's quite good to see, to be honest. I'm glad he's playing. But
rightfully keeping Sessegnon out of the team. In your opinion?
And Session's not been terrible. He's not done anything wrong. But like I said, when you've got that sort of player,
Just a
you've
level
got to play
above.
him. Yeah, you've just got to play him. Yes, but tonight 2-0 loss.
You take it on the chin and
We'll go
and
again.
move on. And
Go
then
again.
Moving from one English club to another, who had a shocker last week in the Champions League, Liverpool. Wow.
Got dismantled, didn't they?
I mean, I didn't watch the game
Against
live.
Napoli. No, neither.
I saw half of it when I was pissed in Box Park, but we'll leave that for another story, another podcast. But Napoli, wow, absolutely. I watched the highlights back. Absolutely, were on fire. Like,
could have been 4 or 5
in your opinion,
in
do you
the
think
first
it was
half?
more Napoli out this world or Liverpool just absolutely dire?
I think it's a classic, that bit of both. But
Yeah.
I think Napoli that first half were just
Unplayable.
They just, like you said, they were just flying at. They're all over, like running through the midfield, running off Van Dijk, Gomez, Trent, and Robertson. The whole back four had no idea what was going on. Yeah, they were just, and sort of a few unknown players that you don't really hear of, but in Champions League and competitions like that, that's when they come and play. And yeah, ridiculous really. It was good to see, very good to see.
And they were 3-0 up at half time and missed a penalty and could have had countless goals. I can't remember the name of the person who got the first goal, but then it was Nguisa got the second one. The old Fulham
it was
boy.
at Fulham, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that's another, like, similar to sort of Marseille, that Nguisa was at Fulham, like poor Premier League side at the time. You thought nothing of him, but he's gone there and he's just beat Liverpool 4-1.
Who has Ndombele signed for? Is it Napoli or is it Lazio?
He's at Napoli, yeah, but he weren't involved the other night for obvious reasons.
He can't play at that pace.
No, he can't. He can't.
He
doesn't
ain't
get
got
out
the
of
facilities for that big man.
No. I've seen their teams and stuff they've been playing in their league, and I think he literally gets dragged at half time. He plays might get to the 60th minute and they drag him. Like, he just hasn't got it in him. And you watch the other night and you just think, well, how's he even in that squad?
We'll touch on it later, but I think he's one of them players who just has to play at Lyon, playing that French league.
Yeah.
Or we'll touch on there's another player who is playing quite well at Lyon who just needs to play in that league.
But yeah, Klopp's side were tore apart, weren't they? They played tonight, didn't they? Ajax at home.
Might put it on in the background. But special mentions to the two English lads, Trent and Joe. Wow.
Big Joe. Dragged at half time, wasn't
I mean, I'll defend Trent because he gets an unfair treatment anyway, I think. But Joe Gomez was atrocious.
Bad, really bad.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
For someone, I saw a funny, I can't remember what the exact line was, but it was the Joe Gomez was basically built up because he never bloody plays. He played like once. He had a good season when they won the league, but since then he's barely played and he's got this reputation.
He's had terrible injuries but like you said, that perception of him being brilliant has still carried on, and maybe rightfully so. He hasn't done anything wrong, but until now when he's played, and he's having a stinker, isn't he?
I mean, so they've got Matip came on at half time, so he must be getting closer to match fitness.
Yeah.
But they're obviously missing Konate.
Yeah.
And
they were all over the show, weren't they? Van
Dijk is just playing on pure vibes right now.
Yeah, I don't know what he's up to.
He's up to it.
He's
not making any tackles. He's just shuffling along.
He's just sliding
along like
about.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks he's got like a force field around him.
He used to have the force field, but people are like, fuck it, let's take it, let's do
Let's
it.
go at him, yeah. It's bad, it is bad. But they've got, like you said, they've got a few players come back. Matip, Thiago came on. Again, they lost 4-1, but
and I've seen
that's a very good sign for them that he's coming back.
Robertson is out until after the international break.
Oh, really? What, from that other night, or?
Whenever his injury is, yeah. Did he get? I know I think he's been carrying an injury because
and he just played for it.
Simicast, is it?
Yeah, Simicast
has come on every single game so far this season.
Yeah.
So he must have been carrying something. But
yeah, it was just a very, very poor Liverpool performance, and it might just be the way they've been playing the whole season. But they've come up against a side, Napoli, who were fantastic on the night. So. And
what is worrying? Like, he might turn it around, whatever. But I know it's only early days. But you're away at Napoli, big game, and you have your £80 million player on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, I know he hasn't been great so far, but you just need to play him.
But in the midfield, they've got Milner, who's, like we keep saying, shouldn't be playing week in, week out.
So I said to Jack, I texted Jack in the week, and I said Milner made his debut the same year that David Seaman got lobbed by Ronaldinho. Come on, James. Time for a rest.
Like, I take your hat off to him. He's a brilliant professional. He's incredibly fit. But like I said, he just shouldn't be playing week in, week out. And that's down to Klopp. That's down to Liverpool as a club. They've not recruited. They've not got players in they need to. And They've got Milner, they've got Harvey Elliott, who they're, and even Carvalho. I know he didn't start the other night.
They shouldn't be playing
but
Champions
they're
League
too
games.
much.
Shouldn't be
It's
starting.
too much. Yeah, it's too much responsibility on a young player's shoulders, and Harvey Elliott has played week in, week out. He might be fantastic, and he might
they're
turn
not
out to
setting
be
him
brilliant.
mids,
But right now, Liverpool are struggling. You don't need to be relying on Harvey Elliott. It's too much for him.
Like you said, Fabinho, Thiago coming back is a big addition for them.
Yeah.
Did that Artur play?
He came on again, but then
He
similar
gives
to
me
him.
big sort of who was that awful player that Chelsea signed last year? Who was good on Sal?
So, yeah,
So,
that's exactly
who
what
was-
it is. Exactly what it is.
Who
Exactly
was good a few years ago and looks good on
he's
paper.
he's a European name that has built up
Who's
some
good on
respect,
FIFA,
and
basically. Got good
and
FIFA rating.
people, he's a good player, and Liverpool have panicked towards the end of the transfer window. They've panicked, similar to what Chelsea did with Sal. They've brought him in, and again, similar to Harvey, they're going to have to rely on him, put on loads of responsibility, and he needs to perform now, not in a couple of weeks or give him a season. He needs to start performing now to the highest level to improve Liverpool.
And they'll be quite glad. Obviously, they've got Ajax tonight, but again, their game against Chelsea got called off
and
on the weekend.
To be fair, Arthur, that could be, thinking about it, that's probably one of the worst signings this summer.
Arsenal were rumoured for him all January. Last January to get him between the centre midfielder to get him on loan, and they wanted Juventus wanted an obligation to buy, and Arsenal were like, no, we don't.
No,
Because his wages.
Because like I heard it earlier, but if you think about the transfer, it was last minute. So the club was he at Juve?
He's gone from Barca to Juve, and now to
So he was at Juve at the time when obviously Liverpool just took him. So Juve can demand whatever they want because Liverpool are desperate. The player can then demand his wages, whatever he wants. So whatever wages he's sitting on is probably saying ridiculous for the amount that he'll play or should play. So
I think he's on a 12-month loan. I think
it could be a really poor signing.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. I think Ajax will give him as good. They are sitting top of the Eredivisie at the moment. They'll give him a good game tonight.
Yeah, Bergwijn might pop up with a little goal.
Yeah, well, I think he scored 2 at the weekend. I think he might even be one of those.
He scored, and talking about Ajax last week, they obviously played Rangers, didn't they? And Bergwijn scored then.
Yeah.
Demolished Rangers. Alongside Celtic getting smashed at home against Madrid.
And while we're talking, we won't forget that Celtic did demolish Rangers as well.
Oh yeah, just before that.
4-0, wasn't it?
But going into that game, everyone's saying Celtic are playing really well. They're on top form.
To be fair, Celtic actually played all right in the first half. But Madrid were so bloody classy, and
they're a joke. There's that man in the middle, Modric.
No, is that you took the
he's
words?
the GOAT.
Just
He's
that
the
way.
GOAT.
He scored a lovely goal, and
ridiculous.
Him and Vinicius were just surprised. And what's his name? Benzema came off after about 10 minutes, I think, got an injury, and then they put Hazard on, and Hazard scored for the first time in God knows how long. He actually looked quite dangerous. I mean, he's playing against a League One club.
Yeah. He should look good, but also Modric turned 37 like 2 or 3 days after the Champions League game, so he 37 years old, and he's unbelievable. He only gets better. He's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Unbelievable. And then on the other English team in the Champions League, we'll talk about Manchester City.
Yeah, City comfortable with it. Nice easy win.
The robot continues to do his stuff.
Yeah, and they are just brilliant. And we might cover it about the Premier League, but it was a shame that Spurs couldn't play him at the weekend, because either way we just want to get it out of the way almost and just play the game, because you think they're only going to get better. That's it. Yeah.
Exactly,
I just said exactly what Tate was thinking, but they're only going to improve, and at the minute they're ridiculous anyway. So
yeah.
And
4-1 away at Seville, wasn't it?
4-0.
4-0. I mean, what result that is. Imagine if Arsenal Spurs... Well, if Arsenal ever got to fucking Champions League, it'd be a good result. But your Spurs is your Liverpools or your Chelsea's win 4-0 away at...
Tonight, exactly that. Last year, City played Sporting away in... I think around 16
7-0 up or something.
They won 5-0 at Sporting, and then brought them home and drew 0-0. The tie was done, but that just shows you the difference in the sides. But comfortable 4-0 for City.
And then moving from the Champions League to the Europa League. So this was last Thursday night. I watched it in a pub down Liverpool Street. It was typical Europa League game. You make 10, I think we made 9 changes.
Yeah, that's what I said. It just lots of changes.
It's one of them games which they give the 9 changes a little bit of run for the money, but Arsenal were never in any real serious
No.
doubt about
You
winning
went-
that
I mean,
game.
I was watching it in a pub as well, not really taking much notice, and you see Zurich go 1-0 up, and you're like, oh, go on, like.
No, we went 1 up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I don't think you did.
we did.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Marquinhos
Marquinhos,
scored.
sorry.
Yeah, Marquinhos scored.
Take it back, yeah.
And then Nketiah kicked.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, they got the
kicked
penalty.
the bloke in the
Sorry, take that back. Yeah.
kicked the bloke in the chest at exactly the same time the Queen died.
Yeah. Quick word on the Queen. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Lizzie. And a quick fact on this, by the way. So when Queen Elizabeth took charge of whatever she takes charge of, what do you call it, the kingdom, England, the country?
When she became Queen.
Yeah, when she became Queen. There was a certain North London club sitting top of the table. That North London club was Arsenal. And when the Queen sadly passed away, there's a certain North club sitting on top of the table.
There's rumours that she was a secret Arsenal fan.
She was meant to open the Emirates
Yeah,
in
I saw
2006,
that.
and she became ill. So her husband come and opened it instead.
Because they invited you in, didn't they, Arsenal?
Yeah, and then after that, about a
the
month
only
later,
club to ever go in,
Yeah.
invited by the Queen or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, very
Class.
sad.
That's what they're called, class.
God, that's awful.
No, but the Queen classy lady, Arsenal classy club. You had Arsene as the manager, Thierry as the
The young Fabregas.
as the captain. Yeah.
No, it was,
Classy Arsenal,
very
class
sad day for I think the whole world when the Queen passed away. So rest in peace.
Yes, but you shouldn't have cancelled the Premier League fixture at the weekend. But
Yeah, that I was quickly on that. We were going to do a winner and loser of the week, but we've decided against it, and that would be my loser. Is that
the
Premier League
FA,
was
was it the FA?
yeah, whoever made that decision is the loser, because you look at the other sports that I understand if golf, cricket, rugby, they're all decided no sport this weekend. It is not happening, but they all went ahead, and then Premier League decided no Premier League. So it just seemed wrong. And,
It would have made a good image of just either
imagine
if it's a minute's silence
Yeah.
or a minute's applause or whatever you
you
want
could
to
have
do.
done minute silence, minute applause, wear black armbands,
Do the old
bring out the wreath through the
trombone
middle.
thing they do for the
Yeah, you could have all
just-
sung the national anthem. It would
Yeah.
have been like it was for the cricket. It would have been
Yeah, it would have just been
It
a
would have
good
been amazing.
spectacle that could have just been passed around the world. And not to say, nip it in the bud, whatever,
Yeah.
because the silly thing is, not silly thing, but it's going to be, so some Arsenal now don't play the weekend. That game could have quite easily been cancelled. Then it's the international break.
yeah.
And then it's the 1st of October before you have your memorial to the Queen.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going to be nearly a
And
month
then, yeah,
past. Just
Whenever your next game is, that is going to be what we just said is going to happen. So
yeah,
surely the weekend just gone should have been
the
a
most suitable
celebration
time to do it.
And like you said, it would have been broadcast to the whole world. It would have been incredible, but instead we were told to mourn and sit inside and be upset. But I think it was the wrong decision, total wrong decision.
Yeah. So after Nketiah gave away the penalty, they then equalised 1-1, and then Nketiah opened his account for the season.
Yeah, he
so
did. First goal, wasn't it?
he's up and running. He's 2 behind Marcus Rashford.
I saw it was on in the pub, but I couldn't hear anything, and I saw Nketiah wheel away and give it the little call me celebration. I thought it'd take as he's wheeling away, but yeah, Nketiah opens his account. One for the
that
season.
is the competition he'll start to.
Yeah. If
get
he
his
starts
goals
as
in.
well, he'll play. He'll start every game at least. He
Yeah.
might come off, but yeah,
Well, as we've got this PSV game Thursday, which has now been called off, it's looking more and more likely that Arsenal are going to have to forfeit that 3-0.
yes,
Or the only other thing I've read is that apparently Arsenal may be able to play it behind closed doors,
right.
which I don't know the truth in that, but basically Arsenal and all the other clubs playing in Europe do not have a free midweek game until after November the 3rd, and
Right.
that is when all the European games have to be finished by. And like we spoke to Jack before this off air, and it's a bit similar to the Spurs situation last year when they postponed their game against Stade Rennais, was it?
It was the home fixture against Rennes when we had to forfeit
And
the result.
you didn't have time to play it, and you had to forfeit 3-0. I mean, I know that it's slightly different because it's not COVID and it's the Queen and we can't police it. Whether that's our issue,
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, it's a strange one. And I've got no idea when this game is going to get played.
No,
which is a bit annoying because
like
I was meant to be going to it.
Yeah, it
And
ended up not being
speaking
played.
to my PSV, I think I've got 4 mates coming down to watch it from Eindhoven. They're all still coming down because they can't get refunds or anything.
Yeah, no, similar because obviously the Champions League this week that we know a few people that have gone away to, for example, the Sporting Tottenham game just now, and yeah, they were obviously going to go. They, like your mate said, they bought their flights, the hotel, and all that, regardless. And there was talk of it not happening, but yeah, they were going to go anyway. So yeah, don't blame them.
They changed their tickets from the Arsenal game Thursday. They're going because they fly tomorrow. They're going to go watch Millwall play tomorrow.
Oh my, who have Millwall got?
I don't know.
Oh, are you going to go?
No.
You're going to meet them?
I might meet them on Thursday for a couple of beers.
Millwall.
But they're gone to Millwall
Dear.
on Thursday. And then moving on to the other Europa League game, and Man United lost because they gave away an absolute stonewall penalty.
100% pen.
Because Odegaard, that vicious foul he did on Sunday, and then Martinez, absolute stonewall penalty, caught the ball, no deflection off his leg at all. Ref was right to book him and give the penalty.
Yeah, no, it was a
shocking decision.
Another poor reffing decision, but first win for Sociedad against United it was their 5th attempt. So yeah, their first win against United. David Silva, the magician, returned to haunt them.
I mean, I didn't watch much of the game. I saw that Ronaldo obviously got his second start of the season. And I was saying to Jack, obviously this bet I've got with Nketiah scoring more goals than United, it was based on Ronaldo being sold, B, him not even playing in the Europa League against whoever they're going to be playing. I don't know who they've got up next, but
I think they got Sheriff.
Yeah,
Sheriff,
something like that. But no, they didn't look great at all. Maguire
starts. What did you say to me before?
Maguire starts, and Man United lose. I think they've lost every game
that he's played.
He started. I mean, they won against Arsenal because he played like 12 minutes, but every other game they've barely lost.
Yeah, it's poor. He started. Even Casemiro played. They didn't have a weakened team. They played like a strong side.
Anthony played.
Yeah,
started again.
Yeah, not a good result. That was their. Obviously, they'd won 4 in a bounce previously, and then that was their unbeaten run came to an end. We'll have a little stop, and then we'll come back and cover the mighty West Ham in their first Conference League game, and then move on to some other bits and bobs. Welcome to West Ham's weekly rant with your host, Jack Kindle Brown. Now, here we go. Conference League started last Thursday night. And we're talking about West Ham's game. The FCSB, Steaua Bucharest, wasn't it?
Steaua Bucharest, the capital of Romania.
Yeah, that was their first home game, wasn't it, in the competition? And you knew some lads that went, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew a few lads that went from work. They were desperately trying to get tickets in the away end and in the home end. But obviously, when you buy European tickets, they then say, if you haven't been a member since X date, obviously they don't want trouble. But they still got into the home end somehow and caused all sorts of trouble, they said.
Yeah, I imagine there was a lot in there.
Yeah, especially as Romania. Steaua Bucharest went 1-0 up.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And
I saw
we're looking pretty good.
Down. Yeah, I thought, here we go. Could be a good week for a pod, but no, it changed at half time, didn't it? Like we just said, they
made
3 subs at half time. Brought on Paqueta, Antonio, and Bowen. They started with Skamaka up front, and that sort of youngster in the middle. But brought on those 3 players at half time, and that I didn't watch it. I didn't really see the highlights, to be honest, but that appeared to have changed the way the game went, really.
Yeah, from the highlights I've watched, it looked like Bucharest had the best of the first half. I mean, I might be completely wrong only watching the highlights they gave, but they looked a better chance. And as soon as they made the 3 subs, then West Ham took control of it and took authority, and obviously came out deservedly winners in the end.
Yeah. Liverpool just gone 1-0 up. Salah.
Mo Salah the GOAT. They got a deserved penalty when I can't remember, the player was flattened by the goalkeeper. But cracking penalty by Bowen, smashed it in top bins. And then shortly after, Emerson got his first ever goal for West Ham to win the lead, and then it ended with a 90th minute Antonio goal.
Yeah, just a good way to start for West Ham. I don't know what they thing about that competition. Their fans, their players, their whatever, Moisey. But yeah, it's a game they should obviously. Yes, they should win. But yeah, 3-1 at home, very comfortable. They got this week Silkeborg away.
Silkeborg away, who are Cyprian maybe?
No, I think
Belgium?
they're Danish. Aren't they?
Danish.
So just name every European country.
Yeah,
we'll get one of them.
Clue. I looked at it earlier. I've got a clue.
But then it depends on who they play. If Mark Noble comes back and has a little run out, we don't know. So yeah, they should be another win for West Ham.
So from one random European competition to a little section here where we're just going to talk about lots of random things that we've discovered over the last week to 10 days, really. And Jack, if you want to kick off with,
I'd love to start.
We recorded last week
so true.
for an hour and 40, and thank you for all you people that listen. And literally, as we recorded last, like, oh shit, we both wrote lots of notes on
this one person, and we haven't mentioned him at all. But yeah, I think we have to start with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Wow, he's old Burton team.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know he actually managed.
Were bottom of League One.
League One.
With 1 point. I think they're 7 points adrift after 6 games, which is horrific.
And they literally scraped through last year to stay in the division. So.
And their manager seems to every other weekend or every weekend swan it up to buddy Sky Sports studio and talk about games of a team he didn't even buddy play for.
It was the United Arsenal game, and Hasselbank's on the punditry, smiling away, happy as Larry, talking about how good United are. He was hugging Ten Hag at the end of the game, high-fiving their players. Ajax, just clipped the bar.
And you texted me, didn't you, saying Hasselbank, question mark, and I was like, Jack's typing, and we both sent a screenshot, the same thing of Burton's league table. Was like,
bear in mind, maybe less than 24 hours ago, Burton had just got beat, whoever they played, like Tate said, rock bottom of League One. Hasselbank swans it up to Old Trafford on Sky Sports News, prime time.
So what are you doing, mate? Now, since then, he's now resigned, hasn't he?
A day later, on a Monday morning, he'd actually resigned from Burton.
Must have been told to pack it in, pack one of them in.
I mean, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's a massive name, but if you're a Burton player, if you're a fan, whoever you are to do with Burton...
Don't look good, is it?
If you see your manager on Sky Sports talking that and smiling and, like I said, hugging the manager and congratulating him, like... You're thinking, bloody hell, like you said, we're 1 point, we're rock bottom of League One, we need you here, we need your help. You're Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Yeah, or you should be bringing the boys in for extra training on fucking Sundays.
You should be, whatever your coaching staff should be doing, it's just awful, like such a bad look. Terrible look, and maybe there was a conversation and he just felt the best way to get out of it was to leave, and
I mean,
and
if I was him, I'd personally, buddy, the Burton manager's got to be a reasonably stressful job. Yeah. Being a Sky pundit has got to be an absolute piece of piss.
Yeah, absolute DOS.
Especially when you're not like a Gary Neville or a Carragher who's got to impress. You're a Hasselbank who comes in normally when Chelsea play. Yeah. Like every now and again you're on. You just say a few things, you go home. Like, how easy can that be?
But also on that, just sort of jog saying my memory, but also Joe Barton in the Marseille end last week.
Very, very peculiar.
What? But played, I think, 20 games for Marseille on loan, and has become sort of some sort of cult, or thinks he is some sort of cult hero. And
he kept doing this. Obviously, you can't see him on camera, but he kept holding his hands up and hand on heart.
Just all. What? Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Joey Barton, who's also in charge of I can't remember
Bristol Rovers.
He's in charge of Bristol Rovers,
who are playing currently Ipswich at the moment.
Yeah.
Shout out to
JJ,
who's gone tonight.
Up the tractor boys.
Yeah. Who are top of the league, actually.
Yeah, they're doing well.
He did say you're going to mention Ipswich being top of the league. I said, I'll give you a shout.
So, yeah, Joe Barton, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, disgrace. What are you both doing? Just
what are you doing?
Grow up, do your jobs.
Well, he's only got one job now, so... Yeah. Right, so my next random thing I'm going to talk about is... Back a few pods ago, we were slating Manchester United for their pursuit of Marko Arnautovic.
We were, for good reason.
Maybe we were all wrong, because the leading goal scorer in Serie A is Marko Arnautovic.
The Austrian.
6 goals in 6 games for Bologna.
Bologna.
Maybe he was the man to replace Ronaldo.
Yeah, he probably was the right addition. We don't know. We obviously know nothing, but yeah, it's funny how it all works out.
It's a mad one like that. And talking about goals, so it is currently Bayern versus Barcelona, the Lewandowski derby, and what a start he has had to his career at Barca. All comps, 6 games, 9 goals. He got a hat-trick last week in the Champions League, I believe.
5-1 home win for them.
Against...
Pilsen.
Was it Pilsen?
Yeah, who Inter just beat 2-0.
Diaz?
Oh.
Should have scored. Yeah, so another... It looks like he's just going to carry on where he stopped off at...
People try and doubt him and say he's too old, all that rubbish. No, he just obviously is
aging like a fine wine.
He's obviously just another very, very good player and incredible what he does.
And another random thing we have found out or researched is Anton Griezmann. What is going on
That's good.
with him? So, while I read these minutes out, Jack, can you just check whether he has started tonight, so we can check this. So, for those who don't know, he signed on loan from Barcelona last year, and 2-year loan deal. And if he plays something,
I think he plays half hour. I think he plays half hour or more.
Yeah, if he plays 50% or more of the minutes he's available for, it triggers a
clause,
a £35 million, which is a €40 million clause that they have to buy him.
Yeah. And he has started on the bench tonight.
This season, he's played 7 games, all comps, and you're saying he's starting on the bench, so his 8th game. He's played 23, 29, 27, 28, 30, and 28 minutes in each game. Yeah. And he scored about 3 goals, I think. So it's not like he's not playing well.
He's coming on and getting involved.
It's clearly a tactical thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
To avoid paying the fee.
Yeah, definitely.
Apparently, Barcelona have obviously got wind of this and aren't too happy with it, and apparently they're going to try and make an agreement to remove the 40 million, make it 20 million, say, and then just grow up and stop playing silly buggers.
Yeah, and then as soon as it happens, he'll play every game.
Yeah, he'll start every game.
Again, he's a good player. He just should be playing, but
you don't want to buy him for 40 million euros when he's I don't know how old he is now, but
if he's got injuries,
especially after 2 years you've just played him, it's just.
Yeah, Simeone definitely knows what's going on.
Oh, Atletico are a fucking dirty little club.
Yeah, I think they're a Spanish Chelsea, so they're well on top of what's going on.
And talking from dirty things to it could even be corruption again in the Serie A.
Oh, that was mental.
So if anyone watched the last 5 minutes of the Juve game,
who they play? I can't pronounce it. Salernitana or Salis, whatever they're called.
Something like that.
They're like a much smaller Italian side, but they were. I think that team were 2-0 up at Juve, and Juve equalised in the 93rd.
Something like that.
Yeah, and equalised in 93rd. Bonucci scored, and then 97th, 98th minute, Milik from a corner flicks it on, goes in the goal, and they're all celebrating, absolutely booting right
Shirts off.
Yeah, as you would in that time, and you've just
already
scored
booked shirt off.
What you thought would be the winner. He then gets booked again, so he's then sent off. And during that time, VAR's had a look and gone, oh, he's offside.
But they're all fighting. Cuadrado's been sent off.
It's like a brawl on the sideline. And like Take messaged me, I think he's about to say it, but go on.
Fazio. Is it Fazio?
Yeah, Fetty Fats.
Why is he still playing? He should never, ever have played after... Can you tell me his last game for Spurs? Because I can. I can tell exactly what he did as well.
I want to say, was it Europa League game?
No.
No, okay, I won't.
Well, I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
Probably got this right.
From my memory, his last ever Spurs game was against Arsenal in the League Cup when the Flamini derby. Do you remember? I can't remember who whipped it. I think it was Oxlade-Chamberlain put a cross in, and all he had to do was just clear it. He booted it about 20 metres up in the air, and it fell down, and Flamini hit a bloody volley. He's never hit a shot like that before, and it went in the corner.
Oh, what a goal. 1-0. Sorry. 1-0 Liverpool and Ajax.
And it was a worldy goal, and I don't think he ever played again because he was shocking anyway.
No, I'm relatively slow, and you can be slow and still be a good footballer. Fazio, bloody hell, he is awful. Absolutely awful.
Was he a AVB signing?
I feel like he was. Yeah, we had that,
or a Poch.
We had the white kit with like a sort of a luminous green line in.
Yeah, it was.
Might have been a Poch, like early Poch signing.
He was early Harry Kane era, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was when Kane, that kit where Kane sort of came alive.
Yeah, 18 Kane.
Yeah, 18 Kane. Yeah. So
HK18.
So true. It's Kane number 18 on the back. Yeah, and Fazio was knocking around.
Yeah, you had HK37.
Yeah.
HK 18.
Yeah.
18 was when he had the eye mask on, when he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah, that was when he was a joke. That is,
and then he went to 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's ridiculous. But yeah, Fazio, shocking player. Has he still got a professional contract? But yeah, sort of sidetrack. But yeah, Juve thought they got the winner. Like we said, Milik got sent off. There was a big old brawl on the sideline. Quadrado gets red carded. Fazio gets red carded. I think the goal then is disallowed.
Yeah. And looking at it, I can understand why, because of the angle they give to start with.
Yeah.
I can understand why Bonucci is, in brackets, offside.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes for the ball, but is he interfering with play? No, but if it's one of them, imagine that's North London derby.
Oh.
If it's an Arsenal score, everyone is going, all the Spurs fans are going, he's offside, he went for the ball, and if it's a Spurs, and it vice versa.
But is that photo I sent you, is that true? The one of the guy?
Yeah.
So he's not offside?
No, because that's the angle the TV showed.
Yeah, so what are they...
And then
why can't they see the whole thing?
They forgot to look. They forgot, that was the big issue was, they forgot, they only checked it against the screenshot of that.
From the view of the corner.
Yeah, they didn't show the whole pitch.
So basically, there's a guy that goes to defend the short corner, and he's
on the 6-yard line.
Yeah, he's typical, like just walking away, sort of forgetting that he's still part of the game, and he is obviously keeping the whole Juve side on side. But like Tate's saying, the camera angle or whatever they look at, the shots, the screenshots and whatever, is all looking at just one simple angle.
It's zoomed in.
That obviously cuts out this player, and for whatever reason they don't realise and they don't think, oh, maybe there's a guy keeping him on, and yeah, they disallow the goal because it's, in their eyes, is offside. And then at that point, Allegri gets sent off as well, the Juve manager.
Yeah, so I think 4 players, 1 manager, and a goal disallowed, all in the space of like 3 minutes.
Ridiculous.
And you were saying last night apparently there was a shocker in the Roma game as well, was there?
Yeah, there was. It was what was a shocker?
Roma versus...
And a penalty. It was Roma and...
There was a red card as well, wasn't there?
Empoli. It was and seeing the Juve one, you just, like, everyone moans about what happens in England and obviously the weekend we had a couple of weeks ago, but there's obviously problems all over. It's not just us. It's not just Anthony Taylor and whoever else.
No, Anthony Taylor's a good referee, especially when he referees Chelsea.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it with Chelsea, doesn't he? But Chelsea disagree. But yeah, so obviously there's problems all over. So.
And on to our final random moment of the week. Arsenal loanee, Englishman Florian Balogun, who plays for Stade Reims, or Rennes, no, Stade Reims it is, has scored 5 goals in 7 games in Ligue 1, and only Kylian Mbappe and Neymar have scored more, which is
good stat.
Not bad for the young Englishman, who's I think is about 20. I think he'll have a future at Arsenal. I think he's got a higher ceiling than someone like Nketiah has, or had, shall I say, because...
What's Nketiah? A couple of years older? 22 now? 21?
Might be 24.
Oh, is he?
24.
Oh.
But no, I just thought it was an interesting thing, see an Englishman go abroad and score some goals.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the league out there I don't think is great, but the next thing I'm about to say is that fat boy Lacazette has scored 4 goals already for them. He's captain. He was number 90. He's now changed to number 10 for some reason. But yeah, 4 goals, exactly the same amount of goals as he got last year, and I think that speaks volumes of what dross that league is.
Yeah, and like Tate said, we'll have a little stop, but from Fat Lacazette, we're gonna move on to Fat Frank. Going to move on to our weekly prediction as we have some of the Premier League fixtures back this weekend. And like I said before, we've chose Everton versus West Ham this week. Tate, do you want to have a little comment?
Yeah, so we've got, like Jack said, there are 3 games postponed this week. We've got Brighton Palace, which apparently is postponed not because of the Queen's thing. It was postponed anyway.
Yeah, it was
because of the
train strikes, regardless of what happened to the Queen.
Chelsea-Liverpool is postponed, obviously, because that's in London. And United and Leeds is also off because they couldn't get enough police to police all the Man United fans in London.
And Chelmsford.
But no, so moving on to our standout game of the week.
Yeah.
Everton versus West Ham United. Frank versus David Moyes. Moyes returning back to Everton.
Yep.
Has Moyes ever won back at Goodison? I don't know. I'm putting that out there.
Last year they.
I'm
I feel
putting
like
that
they
out
got the
there.
result last year.
They might have done. I don't know why I just thought that, but I'm actually going for because I know you're not going to back West Ham, so I'm going to go and back West Ham to win 2-1. 2-1 West Ham. I'm going to go.
Yeah, West Ham won there last year.
Yeah. So he has one back there,
and he's probably won previous, but yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham, and I fancy Scamacca to finally open his account.
That's a bold statement. Brave.
He's got to. He's either got to be, or he's going to be another classic West Ham. Spend a load of money on a striker
massive
who's
flop.
absolutely shit. Like I could reel off the top of my head, Zaza.
Mate, the list there.
I mean,
from
Haller was shocking for them, and I'd said he'd be shocking. He was too slow.
From I think when the
Shamak they had
Golden Sullivan reign. I think at one point they had about 50 strikers that they bought that had scored no more than 5 Premier League goals.
Just awful.
Yeah, awful. I mean,
I don't have time to fucking reel them all.
No,
that Valencia.
that could potentially happen with Scamacca, but
who was a Nigerian bloke they scored like Decore? He was really quick on FIFA once. They had Dumbia, something like that.
Their list is disgusting.
Just horrific.
And their supporters
Andy Carroll
fully understand that as well. Header from Liverpool? No. So you said 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I know you're not going to go West Ham.
No, I'm not. But no, I'm not. Not just because.
I'm not.
No, I have genuine reasons for. I'm going to go 2-1 Everton.
Yeah.
And I have reasons for that, so don't all go crazy and start messaging me or turn off and get the just calm down.
I saw a message Matt Jarvis.
Calm down, it's going to be okay. I've said 2-1 Everton because Everton haven't won this year. They've gone 4 games on the bounce drawing, so he's finding a way to stop leaking goals and right. Okay, we can't win in a minute, but we are definitely not losing. They've gone 4 on a bounce, and I just think West Ham after Thursday night. Playing on a Sunday away at Everton, whether they think it or not, and they think Silkeborg are rubbish, they should win comfortably. But it's just that playing on a Thursday Sunday is awful. It's absolutely awful. It's terrible for Tottenham when we're in it. It's terrible for Arsenal. West Ham know like from last season, they know what it's like. I just think the Sunday game. Like I said, Everton haven't won yet, and Frank needs to find a win, needs to find a way to get some points. And I think that sort of Frank Lampard, West Ham, Moisey going back there. I just think it's gonna work out in their favour. Yeah, I think it's gonna work out in Everton's favour, and I think it'll be a tight, horrible, nasty, scrappy, absolutely horrible game to watch. But I think they'll nick it 2-1.
Calvin Lewis isn't back yet, is he? Calvin Lewin,
no.
Not back yet. I think that's a valid point. Like I said, Everton. Like I said, if you're not going to win, do not lose.
Yeah.
And it's as basic as that sounds. I think they've stopped the rot. And they've had some reasonably good results.
Yeah, and if Calvin Lewin was fit, I mean, Gordon's not doing a terrible job, but he's not a centre forward. If Calvin Lewin was fit and playing and was part of that, they might have scored a couple more goals. So they might have picked up a win or maybe got a little result here and there. But I just think they'll win Sunday. I just think they will win.
Right. Well, either way, if it's a draw, then there's no beers. But if there's a win either way, then
couple of toffees.
Then we'll be enjoying each other's beers. Right. And to close the podcast out. Going back to the top of the show with the teaser. Which 2 players have scored a Premier League penalty with their right and left foot?
Right. My initial thought, and one of the top players at both being right and left footed, and I think undoubtedly one of the world's best at it, was Santi Cazorla.
Mm.
And that is my first guess.
Yes, that guess is wrong.
Surprisingly.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, like I said, he's ridiculous. He took corners, free kicks, everything.
I saw the 2 answers and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Cazorla in that stat somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe he scored a free kick, so I actually sat and watched all 29 goals he scored for Arsenal. Did my research, and he didn't score a penalty with both right or left foots.
Really? I mean, Tottenham bias, probably one of the best right and left footed players we've ever had is Tom Huddleston, but there's no way in hell that he's in that list.
He's not, but for the first clue, there's a former Spurs player in there.
Is there? This could be anyone. My third and final guess, because Tate sort of gave me a hint that he'd like slipped when he done it, possibly, or so. I'm thinking of a clumsy, unorthodox striker. I'm going to go Demba Ba.
Close-ish.
Ish. Can it be close? It's not him.
No. I'll give you one more guess. He is a semi. I would put him in the streets won't forget category.
Ooh.
I would put him in there.
A former Tottenham player.
No. This player is not. The former Tottenham player is a bog standard.
Oh no, okay.
Premier League player.
I was thinking Tarap, but then obviously.
No, I would put the other player is a former.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Don't know why. Maybe because I've said Adel Tarap, but I'm gonna go. Last guess, Ben Arthur.
No,
shocking.
Number one, Bobby Zamora.
Bobby Zamora. He fits the bill of the clumsy.
Yeah, who I think.
Demba Ba
I might be
type.
wrong. Please tell me if I am wrong. I think he's the one who slips and scores with his left foot.
For some weird reason, I couldn't picture that in my head, but yeah, he was left-footed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe, could have been.
The other player's
Ricocheted
also
off.
left-footed, but I actually watched this penalty because I wanted to watch it and see what he'd actually.
Who did he play for?
Newcastle.
Was he?
Streets won't forget. He's the one. Ish.
Was he left-footed?
Yeah.
Was it Laurent Robert?
No. He's got an absolute banger against Spurs as well.
Yeah. As soon as you say his name, I'm gonna know. God, I won't. I don't know.
Obafemi Martins.
Yes. I was there when he scored that.
Yeah, like it was like 90, whatever it was, 100 miles an hour, rocket, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Against Paul
The
Robinson.
old White Lane, and the goal, the net was like a short like roof, and then a diagonal sort of downward back of the goal. Ridiculous.
Made
net.
it 2-2. I think they won 3-2.
And he just smashed it, stanchion. Yeah.
He actually took it with his right foot.
Why? He was awkward with his left foot.
Because if you watch the goal, he runs up really, really awkwardly with it.
Yeah. Maybe he just couldn't get his left foot out.
I don't know. Maybe he was injured or whatever. But it was just the weirdest penalty.
That's good stat, like.
But no, that was. I knew it was Zamora because I've seen that do the rounds before.
Mate, yeah, that's probably why I can picture it because I've probably seen the same video.
I didn't know it was Martins as well, but there we go. If you got that, then please let us know. And if you got all four right from all the 4 weeks, then
yeah, good on ya.
Well
let us
done,
know. But yeah, I think that rounds off this week's pod. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, keep listening, keep messaging us, sharing it, pass it on to someone new if you haven't already, and stay in contact.
Slowly getting around the world. We had our first was it Nambia? We were in Nambia.
Was it
Zambia?
Zambia, and then we had Greek.
One in Greece, one in Brazil. Yeah. We're slowly getting there.
We're going global, so got to keep up.
Well, we'll see you next week. Stay loyal.